What's up, Met fans? Welcome back. Talking Mets at Rob. How's everybody doing? All right, guys. So we are going to get right into it today. Some news, some reports, some tweets from a couple of MLB reporters stating that the New York Mets are going after two big free agent names. Who they are, obviously, we do not know, but we can definitely speculate, guys. This is something that I said the other day, even last week when Andy Martino came out and said that the Mets aren't going to spend big-time money on big-time free agents. They're going to focus on the back end of the rotation, such as a Kikuchi and bullpen arms to allocate that money. But the report came out a few hours ago. I'm going to show you guys a report. If you missed it, we're going to look at it right here, guys. So just give me 1 second. And I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show it to you. All right, guys, here we go. So, Jon Heyman said about a few hours ago, have heard Mets might consider signing another significant pitcher and hitter once the lockout ends. On top of Scherzer, Marte, Kana, and Escobar, if so, $200 million payroll could approach $300 million. That is something that is unheard of when you wear the orange and blue. This is new territory for our New York Mets. The Flushing team in Queens could near $300 million in a payroll in just this year. That's insane. But the good news about this is I always felt, and I've told you this from the beginning of the offseason, I felt like the Mets still were going to do a big-time pitcher, a big-time hitter. So if you put that in perspective, guys, right? If you put it into perspective and you see what exactly do the Mets need, right? What do they need? The Mets technically they need a third baseman, right? We all feel like Jeff McNeil is going to get traded. There's a pretty good chance of that. But if you really think about it, what do the Mets need? They need a corner outfielder, because I've seen it in my comments. I've seen it on Twitter. People think that Mark Hanna is a bench player, a guy who can come off the bench late in games or a spot start here and there in the corner outfield. That's what everybody thinks. I tend to think that he can start, but I'm not going to say, oh, let's start Hanna over Suzuki or Bryant. That's insane. I'm not that crazy. But before I get to all your comments, guys, this is the one thing I want to put this in perspective right now. The Mets need a corner outfielder and a third baseman, right? Either one. At least one more of those. And Kris Bryant solves that problem. You know, there's no mistake that Kris Bryant and Rodon's faces were on the thumbnail for this stream. It's very simple, guys. Kris Bryant solves that problem. If you need a left fielder, you can put Kris Bryant in right field. And you can put Nimmo to left. Kana can go on the bench. Escobar can be a third baseman. Or if you feel like Kana can hold it up and you still got Kris Bryant, you put Kris Bryant at third, you put Escobar at second, you use McNeil in the trade to get a starting pitcher. It might not be top of the line starting pitching, but according to Jon Heyman, pull it up a little bigger right now, the Mets are looking at a significant pitcher. Now, significant pitcher is not Kikuchi, all right? Signing another pitcher and hitter once the lockout ends. Significant. That's not, mid-level. This is not speculative. It's significant. That's such a big deal, guys. And I'm telling you this right now, guys. There is no doubt. I truly 100% believe this. As soon as the lockout ends, I would not be surprised if the Mets get that batter and get that pitcher. And I would not be surprised if it's Kris Bryant and Carlos Rodon. I feel like the Mets are not worried about any type of payroll or budget. If they're going to break over $300 million, they're going to do it. And I said this in my video that I posted earlier today about Seya Suzuki and the Mets making him an offer. If there's no budget to the point where the Mets can spend $300 million, they're clearly having a 2 to 4 year plan to win a World Series. That's what they're doing. That's the contracts they've been giving out: 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. That's what the Mets are doing. And right now is the key to this offseason. The Mets are not done. They need bullpen help. They definitely need another starter, and they definitely need another bat in that lineup. It all will take care of itself once the Mets do those things. If the Mets do those two things, they are definitely the team that is probably in the top 5 at the very least to be World Series contenders. That's exactly what it is. So let me get to you guys' comments. Say what up to everybody. Thank you again to tuning in, Talking Mets with Rob, guys. Please hit on that like button so we can get this stream out to more people. And also hit on that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And don't be shy, guys. Say what's up in the chat. Don't be shy. Sledge, what's up, boy? What's up? Kenny, thank you for tuning in. New viewer, I really appreciate it. Kenny, hit on that subscribe button and that like button so we can keep on talking Mets. And you can see all my videos. Guys, after this stream, or if you haven't already, please check out the video I did about Seya Suzuki that I posted about an hour or two ago. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about with Seya Suzuki. Now, there was a report from Pat Ragazzo and Andy Martino that the Mets are interested in Seya Suzuki. And Pat Ragazzo said that he is hearing that the contract can go for 5 years, $55 million. And what I said in the video, and you guys can check it out, I go a little bit further into detail, but I feel like the Mets can go a little bit above that to get their guy. If the Mets think that they can, if the production from Suzuki and Bryant are similar, and if you look at the numbers, they're very similar in numbers. Seya Suzuki has a little bit more power than Bryant, but overall they have around the same numbers. If you could save about $80 million to sign Suzuki, I think that's a no-brainer. So, and I see Will Maddox said, my guess is Carlos Rodon and Suzuki. That's fine with me. Like I said, for $140 million, you can probably get Rodon and Suzuki. And that would be significant moves, in my opinion. And I don't think that it makes sense if you can get Rodon and Suzuki. Why would you go for Bryant and Rodon, even though that's really significant? For $140 million, you can get both of these guys, Suzuki and Rodon, for the price that you would just have to give Kris Bryant. Not saying, and I'm an advocate for Kris Bryant. I've been saying it for a year and a half now. I want Kris Bryant, but I am not going to be one of those fans where I'm like, oh, they went the least effective route. They went to Suzuki and Rodon. I'm not that type of person. I try to look at the bigger picture when it comes to this. Carlos Rodon is a risk. He had a shoulder injury last year. He is injury prone, but when he's on the mound, he can be a dominant starting pitcher. Suzuki, again, is a question mark. We can all talk about Kaz Matsui. We can all talk about Tsuyoshi Shinjo. We can talk about these Japanese players that were not a success. I mean, we basically moved Jose Reyes to second base for Kaz Matsui, right? It's just not the easiest thing to say, well, he's going to come. Is he going to be Ohtani offensively? Is he going to be Hideki Matsui? I don't know. I'm not watching, Major League Baseball in Japan. I'm not watching a lot of the Japanese international team. I'm not watching all that. But what I've seen in videos, what I've seen in the numbers, the guy's a power hitter. usually that translates to the pros power-wise. Especially nowadays when offense is basically the thing that gets people going and gets teams going. Pitching has a little bit stagnant ever since that sticky stuff has been away from the game. So maybe offensively it will pick up. I think hitting the power can come to the majors. Average wise, he might drop a little bit, in my opinion. Um, you know, when you see it, a lot of the Japanese pitchers, they all have the same type of motions. Obviously in the majors, you'll have side armors, you'll have, straight up throwers, you'll have guys who are three quarters. So you get a lot of different looks in the majors. So what's interesting is that Rodon and Suzuki is perfectly fine. To me, that's considering significant. But significant is more of college. Big significance is Rodon and Bryant. But again, if you're going to spend $140 million, you might as well get two players who can be very impactful than one impactful guy in Bryant. That just makes sense. So let me say what's up to everybody in the chat. Give me a second, guys. I was just rolling past the comments really quick. All right. There we go. All right. Nelson, Hayden, Danny, Rocky, Sledge, Daniel, Anthony, Will Maddox, Andre, Rocky. Let's see who else we got. Steven, what's up? All right, guys. So I'm going to look at the comments really quick so I can make sure I get to everybody. Hayden, what's up? Danny, I agree with you. Yeah, like I said, I take Andy Martino's tweets as a grain of salt. He does work for SNY. It is Wilpon owned, and I do feel like Martino has the voice in his head, the Wilpon's lips to his ear about certain things, and it didn't make much sense because before the lockout, the New York Mets, the last day or two, were really heavily in on Kris Bryant. They were talking about Rodon. They were in on Kikuchi. They were in on everybody, basically. And a month and a half later, all of a sudden, Andy Martino comes out and says the Mets are going to allocate their money on a back end of the rotation guy and bullpen. It didn't make much sense, especially when the Mets need more than a back end of the rotation and a bullpen. They need that, yes, but they also need another bat and another arm that can solidify this rotation even more. And with Martino, I've met Martino. I spoke to him many times. I was at the Queens Baseball Convention a few times. He was there once or twice. I told he's not a stupid guy, right? He knows how to get the clicks. He knows how to get the views. He knows what he's doing. And on top of that, he works with SNY. It's weird to me how Martino came out with a tweet and then Pat Ragazzo, Jon Heyman, both in a day or two came out after Martino and said the complete opposite. And then Martino comes out with Seya Suzuki after Pat Ragazzo says the Mets are in on Seya Suzuki. So I don't really know what Martino's overall goal is in this situation, but Martino really hasn't been right a lot. He even said that the Mets weren't going to make Buck Showalter the manager either 3 months ago. But look what happened. So I take Martino with a grain of salt. Danny, he's an idiot. I agree. I wouldn't go far as an idiot. I just think that he has whispers in his ears from the Wilpon, or, somebody within SNY that has the ear of the Wilpons and telling Martino what to say, because let's be honest, even though the Wilpons got paid very well for the Mets, they are a little spiteful when it comes to Steve Cohen. So either way, any way you look at it, the point is, we know if you pay attention, if you see the writing on the wall, the Mets were not going to be done, or at least not going to make any significant moves. It just seems that way. I feel like even if the Mets didn't make another move, I feel like they would make a free agent signing. They would make a trade, because I do think McNeil is out of here. I do think they want McNeil off this team, and they have options after that. You could probably get a back end of the rotation guy for just McNeil. So, Danny, I agree with you. I think Martino just likes to put up smoke and see what happens. And it took on traction all over social media when Andy Martino wrote that. Sledge, yes, we do need a pitcher. I agree. Like I said, I do think the Mets are going to go big. They're probably going to go. I'm going to see. I think the Mets are going to try to, like I said, when the lockout ends, free agency is going to be the first thing that you're going to hear about. Crazy signings all over the place. So many rumors. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be hectic. And what you have to look at is that the Mets have to go to free agent round first, because if the Mets are so keen on keeping their prospects, there's not really much to go for in the trade market except for a back end of the starting pitcher for Jeff McNeil. If the Mets are not going to trade their prospects, they're not going to get Luis Castillo. They're not going to get Sonny Gray. They're not going to get Shane Bieber. You can go on and on with all different trades for a starting pitcher, a top of the line starting pitcher. So what can the Mets do? The Mets can, sign a rotation guy. You can Rodon, Kershaw, the names. So it's just that simple. At least we know that the Mets are serious. And we noticed that right away. As soon as they signed Escobar, Kana, and Marte, we know they were serious, because they ain't the best players in baseball, but they're very solid, really good to solid players that you need another star in this lineup around. You got Alonso, who is a bona fide star. You're going to have another star that we need. If it's Kris Bryant, the Mets make a big time trade for a Jose Ramirez, something like that. But again, according to Jon Heyman, the Mets are willing to go with the $300 million. So if you think Carlos Rodon and Kris Bryant can get between 10 to 20 million for both of them, that's the other 30 million that's going to add up to 300. So that right there you go. But, made a good point earlier. What it was, I forgot who said it. I'm sorry if I didn't. Will Maddox. He said Carlos Rodon and Suzuki, right? So Carlos Rodon and Suzuki is only what, if he gets 10 million or 11 million or 12 million for Suzuki and another 13, 14 million for a Rodon. What is that, like $26 million? So there you go. There's your extra couple of $1 million to get you closer to 300, and still gives you a little bit of room to make bullpen moves. So when the lockout ends, I think the Mets are going to focus on free agency, and if they can't get their guys, then they'll pivot to the trade market. But I think they're going to do everything they can to keep their prospects. Kenny, once again, thank you for being a new viewer. Hopefully you subscribed. Shout out to Kenny. Daniel, when do you think the lockout will end? Well, MLB's meeting today. They should be meeting at the moment. I haven't really checked Twitter to see if there was anything new, but at the moment, they're speaking right now, which is good. Maybe they'll come together in meetings 3 or 4 times this week. I think I did a video about this. I think the second week in February, if they don't get a deal done by, say, Valentine's Day, I don't think spring training is starting on time. And that's unfortunate. But I do think they're going to get it done within the next week and a half. The only reason why is because that's when they're going to start losing a lot of money. They're going to postpone spring training games. And let's be honest, guys, spring training games is not a real, it's not millions and millions upon millions of dollars. But for some teams, it's a decent amount of money. Fans get excited. They go to spring training. And that goes for the Pittsburgh Pirates fans, the Cleveland Indians fans, all the bottom feeding teams, right? They need this extra money, this extra income from spring training. Everybody gets excited about baseball. Fans show up in spring training in Arizona or Florida. People buy a whole bunch of stuff. Every time I go to spring training, hopefully I go this year. I'm supposed to go, but with the lockout, who knows? Every time I go to spring training, I get a new hat. This is from spring training last year, 2021. I buy a shirt that says spring training 2022. I'm going to buy another hat. They always come out with a new spring training hat every year. So there's money that is going to be lost if this lockout continues. So when they start losing money, that's when they're going to start picking up steam. How many? I don't know. Maybe I'm working hard. I don't know. With the channel and my regular job, it's a lot of work. So at least I look good, right? I'm losing weight. I like it. That's what I like to hear. But thank you, Daniel. Anthony, who is the pitcher I'm talking? Oh, the pitcher down the pitcher is Carlos Rodon, the left-hander who pitched for the White Sox last year. Rocky says the sky is unlimited. Waited this long to say this. Yeah, you know what? We all have been. I think all of us are, especially Mets fans, are a little in shock. Like, we're not used to this. Yes, the Mets spent money, from 04 to 07, 08, Beltran and Delgado, Floyd, Santana, Glavine, all those guys, they spent the money. But it felt like the Wilpons, they just spent that money one time and then that's it. Right? With Steve Cohen, you see that it's not just spending money and like, look, I got the biggest payroll, I got the biggest tag, I got the best players. No. What it shows is that they didn't just go out and get all big time names, right? The three guys, Escobar, Kana, and Marte, they're solid players, right? Steve Cohen talked about it. He wants consistency. That's key. The Mets in their history, you guys probably know this. In the Mets history, the Mets never made the playoffs 3 years in a row. They made it twice in a row a few times, but they never made the playoffs 3 years in a row. That's embarrassing for a team who started in 1962. It's embarrassing. There has been no consistency with this organization. I feel like Steve Cohen wants consistency. Unless you're George Steinbrenner, who says championship or bust every year, realistically, all you want your team to do is make the playoffs because you've seen it year after year. The Atlanta Braves weren't very good in the first half, but the second half they picked it up. They got hot. They won a World Series. All you have to do in Major League Baseball nowadays, 20 years ago, it wasn't like that. You were either a really good team to best team, or you just weren't good enough to win a World Series. Nowadays, it's like the NHL, right? Any team that makes the playoffs can win the Stanley Cup. In Major League Baseball nowadays, make the playoffs, anything can happen. That's all the Met fans are asking for. Make the playoffs, anything can happen, especially with DeGrom and Scherzer at the top of your rotation. When you got to face a divisional round and you got to win best out of 3, best out of 5, you get Scherzer and DeGrom pitching game 1 and 2. That's already advantage Mets. Same thing with the NLCS. Teams don't want to face those type of pitches in the playoffs, and especially in a short series. So that's the biggest thing. The Mets need to be consistent. They need to be teams that win between 90 and 100 games. That's probably almost guarantees you a playoff spot. Wild card, maybe if teams in your division play very well, that's what's the big deal about that. So the sky is the limit, definitely, Rocky. Rusty, how you doing? I think Suzuki is a better option than Bryant. I tend to agree, Rusty, honestly. Even though I'm huge on Kris Bryant, I think he would be a big asset to this team. But again, even though Suzuki is a risk, you never know when these guys come from Japan or wherever else they come from and they come to the major leagues. Sometimes they don't pan out. Not everybody is Shohei Ohtani. Not everybody is Hideki Matsui. He can come here and be a solid player and be pretty good for us. And, for $50 to $60 million, it's not going to, break the bank. So, what we need is someone who's consistent. And I think Suzuki can be that guy. He's a professional. He's been in Japan for 10 years as a professional ball player. So he's a professional, right? The power is going to be there. It seems like they always come here and hit for power. Coming from Japan, they hit for the power. The average might hurt a little bit, Rusty. And, with the average, maybe he can make up the home runs and get more RBIs. It really depends. But again, if you get Suzuki, you're going to save $100 million than if you would Bryant. It's just that simple. But like I said, I will not be mad if the Mets go get Suzuki and get a Carlos Rodon. I'm not going to complain about that at all. Andrew, is Story possible for a second? No. I don't think the Mets are gonna spend that type of money on a guy who is not a second baseman. He could probably play second, but you don't want a Gleyber Torres issue where Gleyber can't play short and he can only play second. And I don't think the Mets are going to spend $100+ million on Story when technically you have a shortstop, right, in Lindor. So I don't think they're going to go that route. Exactly, Rocky. They can get any player they want now. That's the difference with the change in ownership. There's, you know how we used to come and go on social media? Oh, the Mets need to go after Manny Machado. The Mets got to go after Bryce Harper. Whoever the big name was, it was just a fantasy when we said it. It was just a fantasy, guys. Now it's reality. You know, the fantasies that I was having, wow, the Mets can get Kris Bryant, the Mets can get Javi Baez, the Mets can get this. It was never a possibility because the Bullpens were never going to take on contracts. They were never going to sign players to big time players unless it was their own in DeGrom or David Wright. They'd even pay Jose Reyes for that matter. So the difference is a few years ago, it was fantasy. Now it's reality. Now we can be confident and say, you know what? Would you be shocked that the Mets get Kris Bryant? No. Would you be shocked that the Mets get Carlos Rodon? No. Would the Mets trade for Luis Castillo? You would never think of that. Now you do. And that's the biggest difference with this organization now. You can have a thought in your head and somebody won't say you're crazy. Like any Mets YouTuber right now who does Mets content, right? Talks about crazy stuff sometimes. Oh, the Mets are going to get Clayton Kershaw. The Mets are going to get this. The Mets are going to get that. People check out the videos because it's reality now. It's not fantasy. You know, people would just come on the videos and say, you're insane. That's not going to happen. The Bullpens will never go for that. Now, people want to view it because it can happen. They want to hear the opinions, not just of me, but I want to hear opinions of your opinions as well. Because now we all have our own thoughts in our heads now of what the Mets can do. Like I would want Kris Bryant and Carlos Rodon because that's my personal opinion. But a couple of others, like Will Maddox said, what about Carlos Rodon and Suzuki? That's another option. You know, somebody might say, let's get Luis Castillo and sign Kris Bryant. Why not, right? Everything's a possibility. Everything's on the table. That's what's fun about it. Andrew, I don't know. I don't see how he doesn't fit the lineup. The Mets don't have a lot of power hitters. You know, honestly, he really does. We really don't. You know, Nimmo is a leadoff guy. Marte is a leadoff guy. Lindor is not a power hitter. He's a doubles machine that will hit you 20 home runs, 22 to 23 home runs. You know, that'll bat you 260. You know, Dominic Smith, if you're gonna count him, is not a power hitter. Kana is not really a power hitter. He had 13 home runs last year. If you go around the whole infield, Escobar he had a 30+ home run year, but he's not a big time power hitter. So the only big time power hitter the Mets have is Pete Alonso. So that's why I want a Kris Bryant. That's why Suzuki makes sense for the Mets because they're power bats. Bryant can hit you 25 home runs. If Suzuki comes and hits the power like he does in Japan, he's a 30+ home run guy. You need guys to drive home runs. The biggest problem with this Mets team wasn't that they didn't get people on base. Somebody said about Suzuki about on-base percentage. I don't want Suzuki here for his on-base percentage. That's why you got Nimmo. That's why you got Starlin Marte. That's why you got Escobar. Those three guys have very good on-base percentages. Why? Because you need the big boppers like Lindor, like Alonso, guys like that to drive them in. Suzuki is going to be an RBI guy. He's going to be driving in the Martes, the Nimmos of the world, the Lindors of the world. That's what you need. The biggest problem was there was hardly any power on this team last year. Nobody really hit a lot of home runs. McCann was supposed to come here and hit home runs. He was supposed to be one of the power bats. He struggled. Maybe he can bounce back. I don't know. But the Mets need another power bat. And the amount of people who were mad about the Marte signing or the Escobar signing. These guys are on base guys. These are the guys that get on base for the big boppers behind them. Suzuki fits that mold. No, Anthony, I never said Kikuchi was a significant starting pitcher. What I was saying was Kikuchi can be a back end of the rotation type of guy, not a significant starting pitcher. Carlos Rodon is significant. Clayton Kershaw is significant. But before this report came out about the Mets getting a significant arm and a significant bat, Kikuchi made sense for the Mets to help their back end of the rotation out and give a little depth to the rotation. That's the difference. But Kikuchi is not a significant starting pitcher. That's no doubt. Andre, in packets to get Hader. You know, I'm not big on retaining acquiring closers because I don't feel like you can trust them sometimes. Like, I know Hader's been very good, but he has a lot of wear and tear in that arm, and you're gonna have to give up a lot to get Hader, and to give up a prospect or two and McNeil to get Hader, because that's what the Brewers are gonna want. It's not worth it for a closer when you're gonna actually sign a couple of guys. And technically, you have a closer, guys. I know a lot of us are down on Edwin Diaz, but the Mets have a closer. It's just have to deal with it. Bullpens are volatile nowadays. There is no team that says there's probably like one or two teams in this league that says I trust my closer. So every other team has the same question. It's just a matter, did the Braves have a really great closer? Look at the teams in the playoffs in last postseason. Look at the teams in the World Series. They didn't have dominant closers. They barely had good bullpens. But what they had was really, really good offenses and really good pitching in the starting rotation. That's what the Mets need. The bullpens, you're going to hit or miss. Aaron Loup had an under 1 ERA. This year, he might have a 3 ERA. That's how volatile bullpens are nowadays. I think both of them fit the lineup. I like Bryant a lot more because I know Kris Bryant can play right field, left field, center field, third base, second base, first base for that matter. And in an emergency, he can play short. I know Suzuki can play other positions, but I don't know how he is in other positions. I know he plays the outfield in Japan, but he can play shortstop. He can play third base. He can play second. But again, we don't know how good he is. Nobody watches him every day. Everybody was always enamored about Baez. And when people saw how he swings at everything when he's at the plate every day when he was a Met, everybody's like, wow, he swings at everything. Until you see the guy every day, you really don't know how he's going to be. And that's what scares me. Kris Bryant, since I've been so fixated on him for the Mets, I've watched him a lot with the Cubs. And even though he doesn't put huge numbers, he does so much more than the numbers put on paper. There's so many times, this guy plays every day. When the Cubs need him, he plays third base. Anytime there's an injury, he plays that position. That's a huge asset to have on a team. And I don't think people understand the gravity of it all. It's that much of importance to have a guy who can bat 260, who can hit you 25 home runs, and be in the middle of this lineup and play any position you need him that day. Wow, if the Mets somehow trade Dominic Smith, you really don't have another first baseman. Yeah, Connor can play first base, but guess what? If you got Kris Bryant, you're going to give Alonso a day off for 2? You put Kris Bryant at first base. Problem solved. You're not really losing much offensively, and you're getting a little bit of an upgrade defensively at first base. So Kris Bryant is a huge asset to a lot of people, to any team. And that's why I think the Mets should get him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies go after him. Dave Dombrowski always makes a big move, and I wouldn't be surprised. They had the MVP in Harper last year. Their pitching sucked. Their offense struggled a lot. So, they need that another bat. behind Bryce Harper. So it's a possibility. But the Mets can't let that happen. You can't have these guys going to the NL East and killing you all year. Can't have that. Yeah, Hayden, that's a good one. I think you talked about this in your stream. If it wasn't today, it was the last stream about Suzuki. That's another big key. As big of a power hitter Suzuki is, his strikeout rate is very low. And look, that's another on base guy, right? Somebody said that in the chat. On base percentage is key. Listen, I don't. If Nimmo, Marte, and Lindor get on base, I don't want Suzuki to try to get on base. I want him to drive him in. But it's never a bad thing that a guy, and that's the other thing. The Mets had a problem putting the ball in play with runners in scoring position, right? How many times did they strike out with runners on? It was so frustrating. Put the ball in play. You need to pop up to the outfield to get a sac fly. The Mets couldn't do that last year at all. To have a guy who doesn't strike out a lot, but puts bat on ball is a big thing. How many times did the Mets lose by 1 run when we had 15 left on base in the game and the Mets didn't do nothing because they couldn't drive home a run. They couldn't get a sac fly. Having guys like Marte, who's a 300 hitter, Escobar, who's a contact guy. Suzuki is a guy who puts the bat on the ball and doesn't strike out. When you need that sac fly, he can get it for you. You need that big home run, he can get it for you. So, strikeout, people don't care about strikeouts anymore in baseball. It's a joke. How many times you see guys strike out with men on base? Not just the Mets, all over baseball. It's a joke. So that's another good thing. That's a good call, Hayden. That's a good thing you picked up on. I agree, but where does he play in the Mets lineup? Well, I mean, if you really think about it, right? If you're gonna have your 1, 2, 3, you're gonna have Marte, Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, right? You can play around with the lineup, right? Depending on if that's the lineup at the moment, and you have Suzuki in this lineup instead of Kris Bryant, you can put Suzuki behind Alonso. You can have Escobar behind Alonso. You can have a lot of different options, but Suzuki would probably hit 5th or 6th, and that's perfectly fine. He's going to be a power guy, so it really depends on what else the Mets do. The Mets can get Suzuki, but if McNeil is off this team, and like I said, if the Mets sign Suzuki, I think the Mets are going to keep McNeil, because then when the Mets are going to have a problem, if they trade McNeil for a second baseman, yeah, you can move Escobar over, but then who's your third baseman? So that's the other issue as well. It seems like everybody wants Kana on the bench, but Suzuki can fit in this lineup easily. I think the power is going to come over to the majors. I think it's that simple. But he can 5th or 6th in this lineup, no problem. I think the Mets are set 1 through 4. Pick your combination, right? Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso. Marte, Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso. That is your 4. That's basically a guarantee every day. 5 through 8, depending on if there's a DH as well. There's another thing you have to look at. That's another reason why the Mets are going to need another solid bat, because there's some days when you're going to need Alonso to DH. You might need a Suzuki to DH. Maybe Kris Bryant to get him off his feet off the field to DH or something like that. McCann can DH if you don't want him to catch a game. Stuff like that. There's a lot of ways to do it. So the DH is another thing that we have to look into. All right, let's check. Max, when it comes to Cano, I don't think Cano is going to play second. I don't want him playing second. If I have to choose between McNeil and Cano, I'm going to put McNeil at second base. I do think the Mets are going to give Cano every opportunity to be the DH, but if he struggles in spring training, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets pay him his money and say, get the hell out of here, because he's keeping up a roster spot where Mark Vientos, who raked last year in the minor leagues, can easily pop up and be the everyday DH for the New York Mets and can play third base and second base when called upon. Hey, Lawrence, what's up, man? Long time no see. Yeah, man, that's what we're waiting for. Let that Super Bowl end, and hopefully we get spring training right after that. But thank you for tuning in, Lawrence. Good to see you back. Yeah, but you see, Steven, he doesn't really block Beatty because at the end of the day, worst case scenario, if Beatty shows that he's ready this year in the second half, you bring him up, you put Kris Bryant the left field, and Connor's on the bench, and problem solved. Or you put Bryant to right field, Nimmo to left. Now you have a third base spot open. So that's the other thing with Kris Bryant, and I don't think other people understand. And it's hard for people to not clearly get this. It's not somebody like JD Davis who can't play anywhere else except third base. He would be blocking Beatty. Kris Bryant's not blocking Beatty because Kris Bryant can play anywhere. If Beatty shows that he's ready to play in the pros, you put his ass at third base and you move Kris Bryant to left field or right field. That's the option that you have. At the moment, if the Mets don't trade McNeil and Escobar's your third baseman and Beatty is ready to come up, where are you going to put Escobar? You're going to throw him on the bench? You're not going to do that. You're paying him 2 to 3 years, right? You're not sitting McNeil to put Escobar at second and Beatty at third. That doesn't make sense. The one person who doesn't fit in this lineup that's currently on his team is Jeff McNeil. And the big problem is with Jeff McNeil, and I've said this before. If you haven't heard it, I'm going to say it again. Jeff McNeil is a number one, a leadoff hitter or a number two hitter. He is not a guy that can bat sixth or seventh in his lineup because he's not made to bat sixth or seventh in his lineup. McNeil needs to go back to his 300 average type of hitter offensively. He is useless in the 6th or 7th spot that he was a lot last year. The reason why is because he's not a home run hitter, but he tries to hit home runs. He's supposed to be an average hitter who's a guy who's supposed to be hitting 300 or more. That type of guy should be at the top of the lineup. Why do you think the Mets got Marte? They didn't just get him because they needed a center fielder. They needed a leadoff hitter. Nimmo is the perfect number 2 guy because he takes pitches. It's perfect for Marte to steal bases. The problem with Jeff McNeil, and the Mets put him in the 2-hole or leadoff, he was trying to hit home runs. You're not a leadoff hitter and trying to hit home runs. You're trying to get on base. Yeah, every now and then a leadoff hitter connects and hits a home run. But what you need from Jeff McNeil, his on-base percentage is down. His average was 30 to 40 points less than normal. That's not a guy that you need at the leadoff spot or batting second in the lineup. Batting 6 to 7, he is useless if he's batting 250 and hits you 15 home runs. He's not that type of player, and he doesn't work in the lineup. Not only is he not a great second baseman, he doesn't get along with Lindor. His offense is down. It's just a sign for disaster. And it doesn't make sense for McNeil because he does not fit in this lineup. Unless McNeil goes back to his 300 average self, who works on consistently working counts and making contact and being a gap-to-gap hitter, getting on base, he's pointless for this team. If he's a 300 hitter, the Mets can easily put him in the 1 or 2 spot and push everybody back. You want Marte to lead off? Great. Put Nimmo 2. You can put McNeil 3. You can put McNeil 2. There's options now. It lengthens the lineup. But McNeil batting 6th or 7th is just pointless because he's going to feel if he's batting 6th or 7th that he has to hit a home run every time. That's why his average has been hurt. Yeah, definitely. Cano's not an everyday player. If he can DH, great. If he can't, get him the hell out of here. No. That's a big difference. Kris Bryant is 30 years old. He's not 35. The Mets got Cano when he was 35 years old. No. That's a big difference. Kris Bryant showed you last year in the playoffs what he can do. He was very good for the Giants. You're not going to get a guy in Kris Bryant. Kris Bryant's not going to get more than a 6-year deal. If you tell me you give Kris Bryant 6 years, 140, and he's going to be 31 years old, by the time this year ends, if you give me 4 really good Kris Bryant years out of the 6, you can't complain about it. There's nobody that usually gives you their back of the baseball card numbers for the entire contract. You can't name me one guy. I can assure you Bryce Harper in his 12-year deal, year number 9 is probably going to be crap. But these teams don't give 6-7 year deals worrying about the last 2 years of the contract. They're worrying about the first 4 because that's the biggest part of a contract, especially big time contracts. Like, does anybody think the Mets give 3 years to Scherzer and the 3rd year they think he's going to be the Max Scherzer of old? No. The Mets are expecting Scherzer to have 2 Max Scherzer type years. The 3rd year is a crapshoot. If he does great, great. If he does bad, well, we had 2 good years out of him. That's what they're doing. The same thing with Marte. Why would you give a 32-year-old a 4-year deal who plays center field? Do you think year 3 and 4 he's going to be our center fielder? No. He's going to the corner outfield. So looking at Bryant, oh, well, he's going to be like Cano in 5 years. Okay, but I care about the first 4. If he brings us a world championship, I'm not going to complain. That's the risk of taking the contracts on. The back end of these contracts are not going to be good. That's the risk every team takes. Jose, how you doing, buddy? Latest with the lockout, they're speaking today. That's all I heard. I've tried to check Twitter to see if anything was new. Not much, unfortunately, that I've heard. But at the moment they're talking right now, I'm assuming by like 5 o'clock. I don't know what time they started. They probably started like around noon or 1 o'clock with the meeting. So if you don't hear that until 5, 6 o'clock, that means the meeting took a long time, which is good. So at the moment they're meeting today, and hopefully we get news by the end of the day. Ed, how you doing, buddy? I don't even think it's gonna take 15 million to get him. Pat Ragazzo of Sports Illustrated said he's expecting Suzuki to get 5 years, 55 million, which quick math, $11 million a year. I said in the video, if you want to check that out, Ed, that the Mets should go a little bit above that number, about 12, maybe 13 million per year. I think that can get it done if they really want him. 5 for 15 seems a little high just because he is an unknown. Just because, he looks good in Japan doesn't mean he's going to be an Ohtani or a Hideki Matsui, But I don't think the Mets are looking for that. The Mets are looking for a solid guy who can hit you 25 home runs and play good defense. But I don't think $15 million is going to be that much. Because also the team that signed Suzuki has to pay a posting fee of $10.125 million to the Carps of the Japan League. So that's an extra $10 million that adds to the contract that goes to the team that he was currently on. Yeah, we're stuck with Cano, but again, Steve Cohen does not really care about money. If he knows Cano is not producing, he's going to get rid of him. If he's going to be on the bench and never plays and you're paying him $40 million anyway, you might as well get rid of him and clear up that roster spot for a Vientos or a Beatty or whoever's doing really well in the minors to help this roster out. So, Steven, agree. We got that extra draft pick because of Kumar Rocker and that whole craziness that went on. We'll see. We have 2 top 15 picks. So it's going to be interesting, especially what is it, in April, the draft. So, the Mets got to make some good moves. We're going to see what Billy Epler can do, right? We know what Epler can spend money. He did that with the Angels. We also know that he wasn't a guy who put together a good pitching staff, but so far so good, right? He did get Scherzer to help out the back part of the DeGrom in a rotation. Let's see what else he can do. But Billy Epler's fault, right, as a GM of the Angels was can never get a good starting rotation. no matter if he traded for or signed guys. His bullpen was really never that good. His drafts weren't that good, but again, and if you really think about it, guys, the Angels haven't made the playoffs in a long time. And they were getting draft picks in the top 15 almost every year. But these guys really never have came up. So that's another downfall with Billy Epler. But let's hope with Sandy Olson and Epler and the analytics team, they can get really good picks in the 2 picks they got in the top 15. Lawrence, I know that would be nice, right? Let him go to them scrubs in the Bronx. Yeah, well, Max, I've seen his numbers. He's not doing bad. And I seen him turn on a couple of balls he got out of the ballpark in the Dominican League. But again, there's a lot of good players in the Dominican League. That's obvious. But, with the grind of the MLB season, I don't think Cano is going to be, like I said, if Cano comes and, rakes and bats like 290 and can hit you 15 home runs, maybe he can be the DH. But, if you put Cano on this roster and you make him DH, that means, Alonso, whoever you want as the DH for that day, you basically block him because Cano is going to be a DH. And you've seen that with the Yankees with Stanton for so long. Stanton couldn't play the field because he couldn't stay healthy. The Yankees had to DH him, which blocked a lot of players from DHing on the Yankees team. And that's the biggest concern I have with Cano. Steven, Andy Martino was the one that said that. And Andy Martino also said that the Mets were not going to get any more significant players except for a back end of rotation and bullpen arms. That was already shot off by 2 reporters, Jon Heyman and Pat Ragazzo. And I'm going to show you the Jon Heyman tweet. If you just tuning in, let me just put it up really quick. There you go. Jon Heyman said the Mets might consider signing another significant pitcher and hitter once the lockout ends. So that was said by Jon Heyman, and not too long after that was Pat Ragazzo talked about Suzuki and the Mets also going after significant arm as well. So that right there just shots down Andy Martino's tweet the other day about the Mets not going after big time names anymore. Again, Andy Martino, product of SNY. Who owns SNY? Wilpons. Andy Martino is a puppet on SNY. He's an employee of the Wilpons and SNY. So be careful when you hear about Andy Martino. Andy Martino also said Buck Showalter wasn't really a favorite to win the Mets manager gig. Oops. Andy Martino didn't say the Mets were going to get Marte, Cano, or Escobar. Who had that? Pat Ragazzo had that first. So there's a lot of things that you have to look at. But be careful when you look at tweets from Andy Martino, because that's when people – because I looked at it and I'm like, that don't make no sense. Before the lockout, the Mets – the Kris Bryant rumors were starting to heat up and the Mets were involved. The same thing with Scherzer. Right before the lockout, Andy Martino came on SNY and said the Mets are not in on Scherzer. 48 hours later, the Mets signed Scherzer. So be careful what you read with Andy Martino. Yeah, we're not a lot of Andy Martino fans. But again, listen, if you're an employee of a organization and they tell you to do certain things, even though he is a reporter, he's supposed to state the facts and get the news. I don't think that Andy Martino has a leg to stand on in this situation, because 2 reporters came out not too long after he said that and basically shot down that tweet. And then with that tweet, if I can find it, do I have that Andy Martino? Oh, I don't have it with me, but if you look at the Suzuki video, I have that Andy Martino report that he put on SNY. Pat Ragazzo talked about Suzuki and the Mets being in play with him. And then Martino wrote it on SNY website that the Mets can be involved in Seya Suzuki. So if the Mets were done signing big names, why did Andy Martino spew out Suzuki if his report the other day was right. So clearly he contradicts himself. No, Daniel, Scherzer didn't want to come to the Mets during the offseason. During the season. So that wasn't going to happen. Yeah, like I follow all the baseball writers, and like I said, I like Pat Ragazzo of Sports Illustrated. I think he is very good with his stuff, and usually 9 out of 10 times, these reporters are not going to always be right. But I seen that Jon Heyman, Pat Ragazzo, Joel Sherman are pretty damn good when it comes to putting the news out there and getting it right. Yeah, exactly, Steven. That's the same thing with me. I get it everywhere. Not just SNY, but because like I have the SNY app, the SNY alerts and all that stuff. Just because you get the breaking news and all that stuff. Andy Martino pops up on my phone all the time, and sometimes it's I was I knew right away when Andy Martino said that the Mets weren't going to go after any significant names when the lockout is over. I did not believe it, but as a guy who has a Mets YouTube channel, I have to put that tweet out there to show that this is what was said, but I'm also going to put other tweets out there from Heyman and Ragazzo stating the exact opposite. I'm not just here for entertainment. I'm here for something you might have not heard or I might have not heard. That's why this channel is great. And the Mets channels are great because not everybody has the same reports sometimes or found out a source. I might have not seen something you told me. It's awesome. So again, you get your sources from a lot of places. It's just a matter of putting a couple of reports together or a couple of tweets together. Usually you get the right answer. When Andy Martino was the only one that said that, it never made sense because why wouldn't Heyman or Ragazzo or Sherman or Rosendahl say that? It just didn't make sense. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Anthony, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. So to go over it again, guys, let me just put up the tweet one more time from Jon Heyman. So this was a few hours ago. Jon Heyman says, I have heard that the Mets are considering signing another significant pitcher and hitter once the lockout ends. On top of Scherzer, Marte, Kana, and Escobar, if so, the $270 million payroll could approach 300 or above. That's great. And if you look at the numbers, 650 retweets, 2,700 likes, 256 comments, it got around. But the interesting thing about this tweet is that it contradicts what Andy Martino said 24 hours ago, including Pat Ragazzo that said the same thing. If you want to get a little bit more into these tweets, look at the Seya Suzuki video that I posted today. You can see all the tweets that I put them all up there. So you can see exactly what was said. And some of it didn't make sense. Some of it did. Let me just check something really quick, guys. So if you're a MLB The Show fan, Shohei Ohtani is going to be on the cover. So I'm ready to play it. And as I said, I'm going to, when I get MLB The Show 22, I'm going to simulate games throughout the season and see where the Mets in real life compare to the simulation on MLB The Show. And we can, see how far the Mets go in the show and see how far they go in reality. That would be fun. And I'm going to post those videos as soon as the game comes out in April so we can have fun doing that. Because I was going to do it with MLB The Show 21, but for some reason with MLB The Show 21, they don't have this new schedule for 2022, which is a little odd. So I want to get the exact schedule so we can, compare and contrast, which will be fun. Hey guys, easy in the chat, guys. Come on. We're all talking Mets here. I'm just checking something really quick, guys. Just give me a second. Alrighty. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking something out. All right, cool. Just wanted to make sure. All right, cool. So that is the tweet from Jon Heyman that we're going. All right, Larry. That's right. Let's go Mets. Exactly, Anthony. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I also can put Suzuki, Seya Suzuki from Japan in the mix as well. So if it's Suzuki Rodon, if that's Bryant Rodon, either combination of those names are significant. So that's what we're here to talk about, right? Big names according to Jon Heyman, Pat Ragazzo. The Mets are in on these big names, so scratch off that Andy Martino tweet from the other day stating that the Mets are done with big name signings. Didn't make sense. Clearly, it was crap that came from Andy Martino once again. Andy Martino stated that Max Scherzer was not coming to the Mets in free agency. That was wrong. Said Buck Showalter wasn't the favorite to get the job. That was wrong. Stop listening to Andy Martino because he is a product of S and Wine. That's dangerous. But let's get those guys. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Steven, Daniel, relax, guys. Come on. I don't want to time you out. So, guys, if you have any more questions, concerns, opinions, let me know really quick. I'll be with you for another about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll call it a night. Once again, guys, please check out that video that I posted about Seya Suzuki. I'm going to share my screen so you can look at it really quick so you see what it looks like. There we go. All right. So there you go, guys. That's what it looks like right there. So you have an idea. So check that out, guys. Let me know what you think of it and leave a comment. Make sure you hit on that like button, guys, so we can you can say what you want to say about Suzuki. And I did go a little further about contract and stats and what does it mean in the lineup with Suzuki, all that stuff. So check that out. Yeah, the coaches are fine, Daniel. I don't go crazy with coaches, honestly. Hitting coaches, pitching coaches, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. Honestly, it really depends on if the third base coach sends the guys when they're supposed to send them, and that's about it. Other than that, Buck Showalter runs the show. R.I.P. Rod, I would rather have McNeil or Rodon. Again, McNeil you have to trade for. I don't know if the Mets are going to want to give up their prospects, so that's going to be hard to get McNeil. And if you get Rodon, you're probably not going to get McNeil as well. So, it's either or, in my opinion. Rod, I don't think both of them are realistic, honestly. I think the Mets are going to get one more big name pitcher and another significant bat. Other than that, I don't think it's going to be that much. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you for. I'm glad Hayden did that. That's awesome. He said he was going to do it when he texted me. So Hayden, meet him, buddies. So keep on tuning in to both our channels. We have a lot of fun, and hopefully soon, me and Hayden are going to do some collaborations. Hopefully, spring training happens so we can actually link up in Florida and do some live streams with you guys. So let's go. But thank you so much, Kenny. Yeah, Martino, man, I tell you. Yeah, hey Larry, that would be fine. Like I said earlier in the stream, I said the same. Like I said, I want Kris Bryant, but I am not going to fuss if the Mets sign Rodon, Suzuki, and one or two bullpen arms. I'm not going to complain. It's just that simple. So the good news is the Mets are the money makers now. The Mets are big time, and it's nice to talk about reality with that instead of fantasy. So Larry, I'm all on board with you with that. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Listen, guys, we all get into it a little bit, but just roll it down. I don't really want to, time people out because that gets in. I want people to, keep on tuning in and chatting and all that stuff. I don't want to time people out. It just looks bad on the channel, looks bad on you guys. I don't want all that. Yeah, it's all good, Rod. No problem. I don't mind repeating myself if people didn't hear. Oh, I tell you right now, Sledge. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna do. I already got things planned for the channel for during the season. You guys know exclusively on this channel. When I go to games home and road, I go live during the fifth inning, and I hang out with you guys for an inning. When I'm at the road games or the home games, hopefully, that continues, which I think it will. And spring training will be fun as well. And me and Hayden are supposed to link up in Florida when I get there. So once again, there's going to be things with the channels, 15 in live coverage. I'm going to do more live streams during games. I'm also going to do pre and post game analysis of the games going live during that. So there's going to be a lot of live streams. Do my best while I'm at the game or before a game to go do pre games and all that fun stuff. So there's going to be a lot. So I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a lot of fun. If I can set up everything, I'm probably not going to get the whole, like the background and all that, but I'm probably going to use my phone to go live with the background in Citi Field. It's going to be fun. Rod, I'm supposed to go to Port St. Lucie if the lockout ends when it's supposed to and spring training starts on time. I'm going with the 7-line Army for the first spring training game of the year at first day to field. So I have my flight booked, hotel booked, but if things don't work out, I'm not gonna go. I'll see you in April at games because I'm probably not gonna go to spring training anytime in March, most likely. With work, it's kind of hard. March is a crazy month for me. So hopefully the lockout ends and I can go to spring training. It's all good, Steven. Don't worry about it, guys. Can we all just get along? Yeah, Karen, that would be fun. We could do a couple of live streams, me and Hayden, while I'm there. I'm going to be there for probably like 4 or 5 days. 5 days. 4 days, 5 nights. So, there's a lot of things to do with the 7-line. Usually with the 7-line, the day before the first spring training game, they have an outing at Hop Brewery or wherever they have it. It's a big outing. So I'll probably go live with Hayden there. We'll have some fun with that. And then also the spring training game as well. We're going to be sitting on the berm, so it'll be fun. Rocky, we are big times, absolutely. That's right. No Met fans, no Met fans crimes. Is there buzz that the Mets are in the mix for Seya Suzuki? Yes, yes, and more yes. Put up that tweet one more time from Jon Heyman. There it goes right there. Significant pitcher, significant hitter. So that could mean Seya Suzuki. It could mean Kris Bryant. It could mean Carlos Rodon. It could mean big names. Daniel, you don't really technically join the 7-line Army. But go on the 7line.com website and you can subscribe to their newsletter. You can buy a ticket to one of their outings at Citi Field or on the road. I think this year, besides spring training, they're going to Washington the first week of the season. They're going to Oakland, Anaheim with the Angels, Colorado, and there's one more, I think. Philadelphia. So they're going to those 5 outings on the road. So I'm probably going to California again. probably the Angels because I got friends there in Los Angeles that I know, so that's always fun. I went to the Dodger Stadium last year, which was fun with my father, so that was fun. But once again, we'll see how things go. I don't want to go to Oakland. I don't care about the Coliseum too much. I do want to go to Angel Stadium. I want to go to Colorado. I haven't been there, so that would be fun. Yeah, they're an apparel company that got a big fan base, got a big support. They go to outings at home, outings on the road. Darren, who founded the Seven Line Army, is a really cool guy. I met him numerous times at the Queens Baseball Convention. I met him at games. He's a cool guy. He's all the stuff that I bought. I mean, this hat, this hat, this hat. They're all Seven Line hats, and I got Seven Line jerseys and this hoodie right here. The postseason of 2016. That's it. This shirt that says Shea is Seven Line. So I buy a lot of Seven Line stuff. I like the Seven Line stuff. I actually got Seven Line socks. If you guys don't believe me, I'll show you. I'm not gonna show you my feet, but I'll show you my socks. Here we go, guys. Look, Seven Line. So Seven Line socks. I got everything. I got what else I got? Let's see what else I got. Oh, here we go. Seven Line koozie with Shea Stadium and City Field and all that fun stuff. What else I got? Let's see. Give you guys a little tour. Let's see. Got the Seven Line Cup. Fun stuff. What else I got? Let's see. The Home Run Apple drawstring bag. Fun stuff. So there you go, guys. There's your little tour of the Seven Line stuff that I have. And that's only a little bit. I got tons of stuff. Hey, Karen. The Seven Line Army, it's an apparel company. They do exclusive Mets merchandise. And they do outings for teams, for the games and stuff like that, for home and away. It's pretty cool. And if you guys play MLB The Show, they're in center field in 40 and right behind center field by the Apple when they're at home games. So fun stuff. Yeah, Hayden, I hope so. Also, let's see. You're going to Cincinnati, Detroit, and Chicago. I might hit up Wrigley. I never been there. I've been to Fenway, which was an awesome experience. I definitely want to do that again. But yeah, Wrigley's not a bad idea. Oh, Hayden, when are you going to Wrigley? Because I might even find my way there. Baseball games is, I tell you right now, I save all my vacation time for baseball season because I go everywhere. I can't wait. I'm going to Washington the first week of the year. The second series of the year against Washington. I'm going to Washington with the Seven Line, so that's going to be fun. Oh, yeah. Daniel, honestly, I thought it was going to be worse than, like I said, they were getting on us. The Seven Line was there. They were getting on us, but they weren't really rude. They hate Giant fans more than they hate Met fans, believe me. But most of the people were pretty cool. There were some idiots, but other than that, they were pretty good. But, unless you're a San Francisco Giants fans, they don't really care about you that much unless it's the playoffs. So it was a good time. They're a good fan base. I love the stadium, Chavez Ravine and Dodger Stadium is just beautiful, with the mountains in the background. It's pretty cool. Jungle Boys. That's right. Down to the socks. Gotta represent. Don't worry, I get killed all the time at my job. Got a lot of Yankee fans at my job. La Potencia, what's up, man? Yeah, I wear my Mets hat, I wear my Mets hoodie. They always get on me, but the hell with them, right? I represent my team. Win, lose, doesn't matter. I always represent. Yeah, Steven, I just, my dad made me, my dad brought me up a Mets fan. I stuck with it. I could easily, look, I grew up during the Yankee dynasty as a kid. I could have easily been a Yankee fan. But you know what? I wanted to hang out with my dad, watch Met games with my dad. Most of my family are Met fans, so it was fun, and I'm a my dad's a Jet fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. My dad's a Knicks fan. I'm a Knicks fan. Hockey, we're both Ranger fans, but besides football, everything else were the same. So I kind of followed especially baseball. My dad. I think I have when I was like 1 or 2 years old, my parents dressed me up in a Mets gear, and I had a big blow up Mets baseball, and that was one of my baby pictures. Like, I mean, they were crazy, but it worked. Padres versus Cubs. I'm more of a guy who likes to go see the Mets when I travel, honestly. But hey, to see that ballpark would be amazing, no matter who plays. Well, you know what? That's another thing, Hayden. I didn't even think of that because we don't play the Marlins until like July this year, which is crazy. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, uh, I might even hit up Miami. Usually, some guys from the Seven Line guys and girls from the Seven Line Army usually take a trip to Miami once a year. I haven't done it yet, but they usually go. So that might not be a bad idea. I don't mind spending some time in South Beach. Oh no, Philadelphia! I tell you, when I went to Philadelphia last year, and you guys know I went live. I went to every game against the Phillies, the first 3 games of the year last year. It was interesting. I got a hot dog thrown at me, popcorn, a ketchup packet. It was insane, and that was with COVID rules. They didn't have a full ballpark, so I could imagine. But it was fun. Obviously, the Mets lost game 1, but came back in game 2. Stroman pitched good, so that was fun. Imagine the Mets win the World Series. You get Scherzer, who is a hated rival for so many years, and then Cano, who Met fans can't stand, raising a trophy. That would be great. I'd be crying like a baby. My first World Championship since I was born. Oh, that's cool, Daniel. I don't know. Like, I have a friend that does he works as an usher there. Does all the events at the Angel Stadium. So, and he always says they're cool people, and they're just they're in California, Orange County. It's beautiful. What's there to be mad about? Oh, that was fun, La Potencia. I'll tell you, that was pretty cool. Besides the choke job that the Mets did in 2008, that was a lot of fun. As an Angel, if you're an Angels fan, you can't really get mad because at the end of the day, their owners spent money. It's just unfortunate that their money they spent wasn't it didn't work out. They got Upton, they got Otani, they signed Trout. Their big problem was pitching. They never can get that done. They got Rendon, Anthony Rendon. So but I mean, there's only so much you can do. Just got bad luck. But that's crazy. Since 2002, that's kind of sad. But then again, we're Met fans. We know the deal. Oh yeah, absolutely. I got I'm not a big jersey guy. I mean, behind me, that's one of my. I think I got 3 Met jerseys. I'm not a big jersey guy. I'm a hoodie, t-shirt guy. Mostly. I'm not a big fan of jerseys. I never was. Besides, unless I play baseball, obviously you got to wear a jersey. But when we got Lindor, I went right to the MLB shop in New York City, in Manhattan, and bought the Lindor jersey. I got a custom. But I don't have a black Mets jersey. I think I'm gonna get I think I'm gonna get I might get a Scherzer jersey, but I'm not sure yet. I'm probably gonna get either a Degrom or Alonso black jersey, one of those guys. But I'm not big on jerseys. I got the Seven Line jersey from when I bought the season tickets with them. I got the Seven Line jersey with my name on the back, which is pretty cool. But other than that, I'm a big hoodie guy and t-shirt guy. So when you ever see my videos, I'm either wearing a hoodie or one of the Seven Line t-shirts. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I never been to Marlins Park, even though I mean I've been to Tampa, which is the dump, but outside of the stadium, it's great. It's nice there in St. Pete. The water and outside is beautiful. It's just their stadium is terrible. But I've been to the obviously Dodger Stadium last year. Fenway, I think I was at the Omir Santos game, so that was fun. And I haven't been to San Francisco yet. I haven't been to Oakland, San Francisco, just Dodger Stadium in California. So I'm not gonna lie, I do like Philadelphia. The way they have the setup. They got the Flyers arena, the with the Sixers. They got the Eagles and the Phillies all in the same area, which is pretty cool. That's the setup that is pretty good. When you only got one team in your town, it's a little easier to set that up. But it would be cool if the Jets were actually in the area of Citi Field. That would have been cool. But Cardinal fans, yeah, they're the easiest to deal with. That's another ballpark I want to go to. I want to go to St. Louis. Hayden got 3 Alonso jerseys. Well, hey, like I said, I don't know if you guys checked out my community post, but when I was at Dick's Sporting Goods a couple of days ago, they had the Scherzer jersey and the Marte shirt. I was shocked. I would never think they came out with it that quick, but they did. I didn't buy them, but I'm going to. I'm gonna get my black Scherzer jersey and a blue Marte shirt, or a black shirt Scherzer and a blue Marte. Yeah, I'm pretty big. Like I got this is another 7 line. The home run apple beanie, which is pretty cool. Looks like that. It's pretty cool. It got obviously the home run hat, apple. That's one of my favorite things. This one, I got so much more. You probably seen in all my videos. I changed my hats, my hoodies, all that stuff. So lots of fun. Yeah, but black. I ain't gonna lie. I was so excited when the black jerseys came back. Blackout Friday. It was great. In my intro, I got the Blackout Friday intro, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's what's funny. That's why I was shocked when I saw Dick's had the Marte and Scherzer shirts. I'm like, wow. And they had the Scherzer black jersey as well, which was shocking because like I didn't know they were allowed to make anything new yet unless you get it custom made. So I was shocked about that. And when I asked the guy, he was like, yeah, we got him in the other day. We put him out. He goes, I don't know if we were allowed to, but we did. So I mean, but I'm probably gonna, I go past there from Dick's Sporting Goods right from work every day. So whenever I feel like I'll just walk in and buy them. David Cohn. Oof. All right, guys. So I'm going to spend another 10 minutes with you until 4:30, and then I'll call it a day. Once again, guys, please check out that video about Seya Suzuki if you haven't already. And make sure you keep on hitting that like button, guys. If you haven't yet, please do. So people can replay this stream and watch that video. It's key, guys. Hit that like button. That's the big key. I noticed I get like 1,200 to 2,000 views, and I get like 50 likes. Gotta keep it going. Gotta get those likes in. Yeah, yeah, I like to. I don't want to like wear the same hoodie and the same hat in every video. The cool thing, guys, if you haven't checked out the video yet, I set up a new background for my video, so it's not the Talking Mets or Rob that I'm on top anymore, and the Mets logo in the back. It's all new setup, so check that out. So it's a little new look for the new year, which is always important to keep everybody keep on coming back. Yeah, that's the 7 line apple beanie. And they also have, I don't know if I have it with me. I got it somewhere. I don't know where the hell I have it. I have this same apple beanie. They have it in a fitted as well. And I got that. It's got the black lid with the red and the green little cap piece over there. So that's pretty cool as well. La Potencia, I didn't hear much. I heard people making up mock trades, but the mock trade's been like McNeil, Dominic Smith, and Ronnie Mauricio I'm sorry, McNeil, Smith, and JT Ginn for Hader. That's too much for me for a reliever. I don't think the Mets are gonna go get Hader for that price. That's insane. But we'll see. But I don't think Hader's gonna be a Met. We got our closer, even though most of us don't like him. There you go. That's always a winner, Sledge. So the recap once again, guys, before I go. So if you just tuned in or you didn't hear it or see it, I'm gonna tell you one more time why I went live today, and I will be going live again tomorrow for the regular Mets Hot Stove Live at 5 o'clock tomorrow. So let me share my screen one more time so you guys can see the tweet one more time from Jon Heyman. Jon Heyman said he's heard that the Mets consider signing another significant pitcher and hitter once the lockout ends. On top of Scherzer, Marte, Kana, and Escobar, the payroll is at 270 and could approach 300 million. So the Mets are going to spend more money, which is nice to see. So there you go, guys. It's all right, John. Just showing the tweet that I started earlier in the stream, the beginning. Thank you for tuning in. Hit on that like button. Don't forget to hit on that like button, guys. So that is the tweet from the beginning of the stream, guys. So the Andy Martino tweet saying that the Mets are not signing any significant players is false. Jon Heyman, Pat Ragazzo, two different sources said the Mets are going to be involved in significant players free agent wise. So don't listen to Andy Martino's tweet. That is wrong. They both contradicted what he said. So that's why I wanted to go live, because I saw that tweet from Ragazzo and Jon Heyman and says I got to go live so we can get that out there to everybody, because there's too many people on Twitter that are retweeting Andy Martino's tweet and it's wrong. So I wanted to get that out there. So there's your tweet, guys. Once again, guys, check out the video Seya Suzuki that I did today. Check out the new layout from the that I have in my background. So new year, new setup. The videos are going to look different because the background's different. It's a little bit more lighter, a little bit more Mets, so to speak. A little bit more City Field oriented. So check that out if you haven't already. John, I think they should be targeting Rodon. I think they should get him unless they make a trade, but I think they're going to go the free agent route. According to Jon Heyman, I believe that's what they're going to do. They're going to do everything they can to sign, start, and pitching before they make any trades. And that is also about Kris Bryant, Seya Suzuki. I think they're going to do everything they can to get those guys and then go from there. So once again, guys, Tegman, how you doing, bro? Tegman, we will take that. I take that in a heartbeat. No doubt about it. Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, please smash on that like button before I go. Leave a comment. Share the stream, guys. Do whatever you got to do. Bring this stream out to more people. There's too many people that think Andy Martino's tweet is the right one. Let's smash that out of the way. So hit on that like button. If you got Twitter, share this stream to everybody and share the channel. Keep on bringing more people to the channel, guys. We're going to have so much fun starting the season. Spring training's hopefully right around the corner. Quick things when it comes to all of the channel's new things that are coming, guys. Once again, guys, I am going to do MLB The Show 22 simulation for the season when it comes out in April sometime. We're gonna compare and contrast reality to MLB The Show and have fun with that. Once again, guys, I'm gonna do pre and post game live streams before and after games as much as I possibly can. I'm gonna do as much, almost every game if I can. And once again, coming back for 2022, when I attend the game home and a road, guys, I'm gonna go live during the 5th inning of every game I attend. So we can have fun during the game for one inning, so you can get the sound of the game and have a lot of fun with that. And also, once again, my background and the video is going to look a lot different starting today because I changed up the background, changed up the settings and all that stuff. So it's a new look on Talking Mets with Rob. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Once again, guys, I really appreciate all the support. Hit on that like button, guys. Hit on that subscribe button. Please share this out on your social media pages so more people can start tuning into the channel. The more people, the more fun it will be. If you want to become a member of Talking Mets with Rob, just click on join on any video you see, and you can become a member. There's 3 different memberships. As soon as I get more members, about 10 to 15, that's when I'm going to do special things for you guys. And you got to be a member to do so, to get those exclusive perks that you'll see when you join. And we'll have a lot of fun doing that. When you're a member, I'm going to do member-only live streams as well. So take a look at that, guys, and hopefully you guys join so we can have a lot of fun during the season. And the giveaways that I will be giving away, you have to become a member. So if you're a member of the channel, you'll be in rotation to win. We'll do a raffle every time a free giveaway is, but you have to be a member. So it doesn't matter what membership you have, the smaller amount or the bigger amount. But when you get the bigger amount, you have another perk. You have a couple of more things. The giveaways is for those big time memberships. But once again, guys, I really appreciate all the support. I will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Mets Hot Stove Live. So tune in tomorrow, guys. And La Potencia, how do you become a member? Look where you're looking at the stream right now, right under the video, you'll see share, you'll see join, super chat, all that fun stuff. You'll see the join button, or you can just go right to my channel page and click join or click membership, and you can decide what membership you want. Just look at the perks so you see which one you want. And once you know, when you become a member, you get your own little badge. It's a My Talking Mets with Rob logo you see on the bottom here. It turns different colors based on how long you've been a member. So, La Potencia, if you want to become, just click on the join button. That's either on my videos or on my channel page, and you become a member. I'm not going to force anybody to pick a membership. Whatever one you want is all good. But look at the perks, and whatever perks you want, click on that membership. And then we will have fun with that as well. But once we get to 10 to 15 members and maybe more, that's when things are really going to kick off about all the perks, guys. So once again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow, 5 o'clock for Talking Mets with Rob, Mets Hot Stove Live, tomorrow, 5 p.m. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Don't forget, guys, check out the video, Seya Suzuki. I really appreciate everybody tuning in today. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good day. And as always, Met fans, let's go Mets. Have a good night, guys.